Okay, the camera is here. I'm gonna look at the camera. Start with yourself rather than pointing at others. We constantly find the issues out in the world, in other people, what they do to us, what happens to us, etc. When we have so much more agency than we think we have. We think kind of life happens to us, but life happens with us and for us. And we have huge control. We have huge control how we impact others, right? How you show up, how you smile, how you give you, are you positive to others? Do you give them energy? Are you enabling, empowering, supporting them? Or are you doing the opposite? Are you trying to put yourself up on a pedestal? Are you trying to be better than others? Are you trying to show others that you're cooler, smarter, prettier, whatever it is? And so we really kind of get what we show up to. And this is very practical, not, again, esoterical. Like, of course, when you make others feel good, then they want to spend more time with you, right? And other people that are kind of in a higher state, in a higher vibration, in a higher, energy mood, in a more positive mindset, they are attracted by people alike. And people on the kind of this lower vibration, and you don't have to call it vibration, you can just call it like, when you meet people, you get an immediate sensation how they make you feel, like you kind of seize them up automatically. That's an unconscious process. And some people just make you feel worse and some people make you feel better. You will always want to spend time with the people that make you feel better, but they only want to spend time with you if you do the same. So it's all about, you will get what you give others. And so coming back to the topic, like, we constantly find things that are kind of, things are happening to us. Like, we have an accident, someone does something else, someone says something to us. But it really is how we show up, not just towards others, but also how we feel about ourselves, what we believe in ourselves, how we kind of, ultimately, life gives us the challenges that we attract, right? If you only see negativity, if you only see problems, if you only see all the other bad things that people do us, that's exactly the vibe we're sending out, and so we're attracting that. So rather than keep pointing at what's wrong with the world, what's wrong with other people, start looking kind of inwards, not kind of, start looking inwards and start being more critical about yourself. Our mind, how it's shaped, is very good at pointing out what's wrong outside of us, and that is, again, driven by social behavior. Like, right, when we want to put ourselves on a higher pedestal that puts us higher in the social food chain, so to speak. But unfortunately, in today's world, it's less. Today's world is very differently, works very differently than when these kind of primal mechanisms were developed. So what you want to do is, you want to kind of see where you're kind of your own enemy, and you are always your own enemy when you start pointing out what's wrong outside of us, because these are things you cannot influence, right? You can be angry, upset with someone, but first of all, again, I talked about that in another video, like, whenever you have these negative feelings about something, it only pulls you down. It doesn't really change the other people or how they behave towards you. Quite the opposite, actually. You will attract more of that because you show up worse, worse as in on a lower state. So once you start looking inside, you have to kind of start understanding, like, why am I attracting these negativities? Why am I reacting the way I'm reacting? Why am I getting upset when person A, B, C is saying certain things or doing certain things? Like, why am I not above that? And so this is kind of a constant process of looking inside and observing yourself. Like, if you would be here observing yourself from outside, and you kind of, let's say we are having a conversation, and observing myself means I'm kind of like moving outside of my body and look at our conversations like a third party, like an objective observer, rather than through my own eyes. And then I will start noticing things that I don't if I just look through my own eyes. I'm not just assessing you and what's going on with you, but I look at myself as well. Like, why did I just say that? Why did I just make you feel like that? Why did I behave like that? Why did I move like that, etc.? And so I encourage you to kind of try to start making this kind of like an automatic process of kind of just scanning what's going on your side, because then you also will better understand how you impact other people, right? Because what's going on your side is what the other person sees and hears and feels. And so when you go through that process, more and more you will realize that actually you can just change how not only you impact other people, but how you feel about the world. And that in turn will then change how you perceive the whole reality, how the world shows up. So, for example, there's some people, right, they see only that everything is dark and everything is a problem and there's huge issues, and there's other people who only see how incredible the world is and how many amazing opportunities, and it's getting more beautiful every day. So who's right? The world is kind of the same, objectively speaking, but you have two very, very different perspectives. So which one is right? Well, neither one is right. It's just kind of the perspective you choose. You can see all the bad and you can see all the great, and there's plenty of everything, and actually everything is shaped by how you look at it. There is no inherently good or bad, because everything has so many subsequent effects, etc., and many things are just there to teach us how to kind of perceive things differently. So there's no inherently good or bad. That's just how we look at things, right? And I talked about that as well in another video. Like when something bad happens to you, you only look at the immediate effect that it does. Like you break your leg, okay, most people say that's bad, but we have no clue what follows up from that. It takes life on a different path. So it's kind of, you choose your reality. If you think certain things are bad, challenge yourself and think like, oh, what could be good about that? So you're in a restaurant, you get a dish you don't like. You can obviously complain and make a huge scene, or you can just say, oh, that's a different dish, let me try this one. Or maybe you can start a conversation with the waiter and understand what's gone wrong and what's going on, and then you learn about something in their life and why the kitchen is so slow, etc., etc. You have total control of how these things play out. We just see ourselves, it's a convenience way of also putting yourself into the victim mode, and kind of like saying, oh yeah, this is all wrong and this is all wrong, and that's why my life is so awful and all these people are all doing bad things. Like, okay, you can go through life like that if you want to. It's just you're always going to be in an awful mood, and you can see that. Look, next time, the next moment you walk through the street, look at people's faces. Like, I don't know, I live in London, I look at people's faces, except when it's Sunday and it's sunny and everybody is off in the park and having a good time. But even then, you still see people that are just like, that are like, just like life is so much suffering. And these people, at least in London, live in one of the richest places in the world. They have, at least materially speaking, the most amazing lives, and they feel down. Why is that? Because they choose to. Like, of course, there's lots of things probably going on. They have to worry about this and that and that. But you can choose to worry only about this and that, or you can just kind of step outside of that and see only the good things, because you choose how you want to feel. That's what I'm trying to get to. Don't blame other things that are going outside of you. You choose your reality, because there is no absolute reality. It's like how you feel about things, how things make you feel, but you decide how they make you feel. It's a conscious decision once you take over, right? So stuff is bubbling up on you and triggers certain things, certain emotions, certain feelings, but you decide whether you engage with them. It's a little bit when you do meditation, which I encourage everyone to do. I should do more of it. But there also, thoughts will always come into your head or in your mind, but then it's about letting them go, not attaching to them. Same, it's when negative emotions come up. You don't have to engage with them. You can just say like, oh, it's raining, but that's fine. It was so hot, now we need water. Even if it's your birthday, okay, it's raining on your birthday. So what? What's the problem? It's really your decision. You can say, oh, this is so awful, and then actually everything will feel awful. Or you can just say, doesn't matter. There's so many good things. I have all my friends around, birthday, etc., etc. But you see all the good things. It really is that simple a choice. Just that your mind is primed to kind of always look at the bad stuff. So that's why it's kind of our natural setting. But you can change that setting, right? You have, again, full agency of that. It's only about training and getting better and better. And once you start doing that, every little step of it will get easier and easier, and life will never be the same again. So try it.